this special edition of Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director, and it's special, Tate, because it's the playoff
edition. Favorite time of the year.
It is a great time. Regular season's over. As we could have predicted, 8 of our 9 teams in WCS advanced to the playoffs. And by the way, that's the max.
That's
because
there are 5 teams in 6A. So they only take 4. One of ours gets left out, and they were 5th place. So
I knew you knew that, by the way. I'm just trying to educate the general public
You're
here.
setting it up for me.
Let's talk real quick.
Obviously, Centennial did not make it.
Yes.
Because they play, as we'll see when we start talking about some of the playoff brackets, there are teams in the playoffs, Rutherford County, that Centennial thumped. And one of them's a 2 seed.
I can't wait to talk about that.
They just happen to play in the toughest division in the state.
I can't wait to talk about that. Let's talk a few other highlights, though, from the fall. Now, you probably know this from this weekend. Congratulations to Fairview freshman Alyssa Andrea, state champion cross-country small school division. Did you see that?
I did.
And by the way, that's my nugget for the week, by the way, Tate.
It's a gem.
Is it a nugget?
Joins gems.
Okay, it's a gem, sorry. It's a gem. I've wrote on here nugget, so it went in my script. This is the 2nd girls' state title for Fairview. Don't look at my notes. Do you have any idea? I mean, you get bonus points if you know who won the other.
The 2nd title, female?
Yes. The other was in 2001.
She was a golfer.
I'm talking cross country.
Oh, no, I do not know.
Corey Bledsoe.
Wow.
2001. She was 3rd in 2002.
I did not know that.
So obviously some pretty special company.
Did that come from?
I can't tell you.
Yeah, that's
I can't reveal my gem.
That's smart.
Source, not nugget, gem.
Your gem.
Large schools, no surprise here. Junior, Lee Walters of Page finished 2nd with a time of 17:51. She just keeps getting it done, doesn't she?
She does. She was a Wilco finalist. I think the last 2 years. Will be again this year. Yeah, she keeps getting it done. And I love to see that too, because when cross country, you usually think Brentwood and Ravenwood, and now here, state champion from Fairview. All the minor sports at Fairview seem to have just really taken a leap. You feel that way? And then
Definitely.
Page, it's just neat to see, man. We mentioned in golf, Franklin winning golf. You know.
And what do you call in minor sports, by the way? I want you to go ahead and offend some of our viewers here.
Well, no, I don't. It is what it is. I mean, the major sports. If you are football, both basketballs, baseball, and softball. Now, I throw volleyball in there because the amount of members on the team and it is a little bit of a revenue, but technically those are the major sports. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, but it's a
just as important, right, to those.
Everybody, hey, I tell you what, Directors Cup points, boom.
I got to get that updated, by the way.
Yes,
we'll do that here maybe after football.
And you know, obviously, Dr. Qualls patterned that after is it Sears, I think, or it was?
Capital One.
The Capital One Directors Cup.
And they do give more points for certain sports, right?
That's right. So they all add up. It's funny, you know who wins it most of the time? Stanford. Stanford's not winning the Capital One All Sports Trophy off of football and basketball.
That is definitely true. Now, speaking, if it wasn't, is a nugget or a gem or Tate's Tater?
I like it. Tate's Tips.
Tate's Tips. That's good.
The boat captains.
Just drop it. All right, look, teams. You mentioned Brentwood. It was supposed to be a rebuilding year for Brentwood. I read this in the paper.
It's never a rebuilding year.
They were runner-up on the girls' side. They had all 5 runners led by Caitlin Vanderkolk. Hope I'm saying that right, Caitlin. She finished 12th, but all 5 runners finished in the top 40.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Which is pretty difficult. Independence girls finished 5th. Franklin girls 10th. Ravenwoods. Now, if you can, I checked this about 3 times. How do you pronounce that? M-S-G-A-N-A. We can spell it, but not say it.
I'm going to go with Ghana. I'm saying they're silent.
Ghana Aria finished 13th.
I was right.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm going with.
I'm guessing too. Brentwood boys were 4th. Franklin boys, who were the region champions, actually finished 6th, which is probably a little disappointing for them. Brentwood 4th, Franklin 6th, Ravenwood 14th, Kevin Vander Kolk of Brentwood, 14th. Evan Guzman of Franklin, 15th. By the way, you know why I mentioned all the way down to 15th?
That's what they get points for.
And, well, they get on they're considered
Platform.
medalists, I think that's what that's called.
That's awesome.
Fairview boys were 3rd, led by Mathews Andrea. Keep it in the family. They finished
Without a
15th as a
doubt.
group. So she wins, he finishes 15th, and then the Fairview boys finish 3rd. Pretty good meet
It's
for
a
them.
running family.
Yes, it is. Soccer, we talked about, backed up a week, so we'll talk about the results next week. Once again, Brentwood, Nolensville, Ravenwood representing WCS. And now, of course, I'm going to be more positive than negative. I think 2 titles.
Good. Very possible. Brentwood's undefeated.
I think they've given up 3 goals this year. 3.
Kate Devine, if she's in the goal, you better hold Brentwood to 1 goal or less, or you're going home with the L.
All right, let's talk football. Final week of and by the way, I never know what to call this because it's week 10 in terms of game, but really
It's called week 11.
But it's week 11 in terms of weeks.
For some reason, which I disagreed with, week 0 bothered a lot of people. What do
Did
mean
you like week 0?
I like it better than week 11.
Why is that?
Well, because I think you ought to end on week 10. So,
But week 0, I didn't really have a game.
yeah, you did. I know, but week 11, well, that's the first round of the playoffs from where I'm from, or the way I grew up. So I don't know. I just don't like it. But it doesn't matter. They didn't ask me. But it's basically the bottom line is this: you got 11 games. You got 11 weeks to get 10 in. We did have week 0 and the Z plan. And no, I didn't like that. Whatever. Everybody gets a participation trophy and goes to the playoffs in 6A. That was gross. But now it's week 11. So whatever. The bottom line is this. We had 11 weeks to get 8 teams in, and that's what we did.
How many?
8. Did we not get 8 teams in?
Oh, you're talking about the number of teams. I feel like we're not in our.
Yeah, no.
You're talking about
You were
8
thinking
teams in the
ahead.
playoffs. I thought you were about 10 games. Like
Yeah,
8
no.
games,
we got
10 games.
We got 11 weeks to get 8 WCS Sports Conference
I got
teams
it.
in, and we did.
Yes, we did. All right, let's recap. Let's do this fairly quickly because I want to talk playoffs mainly here
go.
today. Ravenwood 40, Independence 14. It was the WCTV game of the week. It was a little different feel because I went to that game since it was played at It was very odd
Yeah, I bet.
that it was played at Nolensville. Ravenwood had their senior night festivities at
Nolensville.
They had talked about potentially doing it the first week of the playoffs. I can see why they didn't.
Right.
You don't necessarily want that distraction. It was a dominating performance by Ravenwood all around. Their defense in particular held Independence to 160 yards, 13 rushing, and they sacked Ethan Cash 6 times.
Yeah, if you read Coach Blade's comments after the game, it said everything you need to know. The line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively, totally dominated them. And that's the problem with Ravenwood, man. They're so good on that front. We talk so much about those skill players, and they are great. But that front 7 now, when they're playing together and hard, and it's just tough. You better be pretty good. And I saw where Cash said, we had some open guys. You did, but if you if you can't set up right, you're throwing under pressure. It's a problem, and they've done that to everybody but Brentwood this year. So, yeah, dominating performance. That again, you hear about Tony Rice going for over 130, Garcia 4 touchdowns, Brennan Stool 2 touchdowns. Who, by the way, they've known it all year long. It's just because there's only one ball. That guy he's a matchup problem, man. I mean, he's a 6'6" guy who can run. They put him in the middle. You got to honor the run. You got to honor those guys outside. Get him out there with a running back, and they really stand no chance. And really, ever since about the CPA game, that connection's been developing. What a weapon! I don't know how you defend that without leaving those guys outside, which we'll see a little bit later on. Then it's pick your poison. So, and the other thing, and Independence is a good football team. It was really 40-7. That last 7 was later on in the fourth quarter when some of the older guys were out. So dominating performance.
Well, and Coach Blade talked about this last week because I think Ethan was 6 of 27 in the previous week. Of course, the weather was bad. He talked about the drop passes, and I not really me, Joe Williams. Joe, now he's going to be accurate, right? Through the first quarter and a half, he had counted 7 drop passes. Not going to get it done against Ravenwood.
Well, no, those are drive killers, and obviously, so that takes away from your chance to score points, but it also gives the ball back to Ravenwood. And it doesn't matter who you are, Brentwood the same way. The best defense against Ravenwood is keeping them off the field. So you keep giving them possessions, and you're going to end up with 40 points. I mean, it's law of averages with that offense.
Someone we did not mention, and we need to rename the WCTV Plays of the Week to the Andrew Mason
That's right.
Plays of the Week. Check these out.
Garcia again, over the middle. This time he's got his man. Touchdown, Ravenwood. That is Andrew Mason on the TD reception. So you take another look. Here's Garcia, picture perfect. And Mason again, beautiful pass and catch. And the Ravenwood Raptors will take the 9-0 lead. The rain that we've had this week made the stadium over at, or the turf over at Ravenwood pretty soggy, and they're unable to host this game. So the Nolensville Knights good enough to loan us the field. Indy, or Ravenwood rather, able to come away with it. And this is Mason, I believe. Number 2, all the way for the score. So just like that, take another look. Ball gets away from the up back. And Mason able to sneak away from those white shirts, sees some daylight, turns on the Jets. And as Indy worked so hard for that touchdown, Andrew Mason, just like that, able to answer on the kick return for the score. 11:37 remaining in the ball game. Garcia again. Look, fired to his right side. Got his man, and that is Mason again. Able to elude one tackler and in for the touchdown. Mason yet again on his second touchdown reception of the night. Able to maintain his balance and skirt a couple of defenders. And now these Raptors set to go on top 40-7.
By the way, that last play you saw, he broke the school record for receiving touchdowns in a season at Ravenwood. What was that guy's name?
Van.
Oh, yeah, Van Jefferson. And hey, there were some really good ones before him. So, but broke that record. Obviously, he's got at least one more week. We got to think probably 2-3 more weeks. So who knows where that's going to end up. But I thought they did a great job of picking those plays. That first one was an RPO. I thought that was a great example of it. You got to see it right there. The two things. One, Mason's out there one-on-one. The kid stood no chance, right? Runs the slant, got inside of him, perfect ball. But the best part about it was the run part of it. Did you see number 33,
right,
that linebacker? That held him up just enough, because he was coming free. That held him up just enough to let the route develop. Boom, touchdown. So that's what that RPO is all about. So I thought that was really cool. You got to really, if 33 had just turned it loose and he keeps it, he smacks him, that's not a touchdown pass. But he had to honor that run, because if he gives it. So anyways, I thought that was very cool. The kickoff for play, that wasn't like that was a great designed, well-executed kickoff return.
Dude making a play.
It was a dude making a play. It was like giving the ball to Glover and saying, hey, man, we need a 3. How many times did you do that?
And I'll be over here drinking Gatorade.
I'm going to be over here getting my Jolly Rancher ready. And then the last one was cool, too. That goes to show the respect they have to him on the deep route. That kid bailed, stops, makes the play, then him being a dude again. But he's a matchup problem.
He is. Nolensville 14, Marshall County 30. A dominant performance by Marshall County. 2 late touchdowns by Nolensville. I don't really think that was as close as the score.
It wasn't. Coach Derrick could tell you that. And surprising, too, because they played well all week. I don't know if they got beat up against Franklin or –
which is possible, by the way.
Franklin's a big
playoff
6-8 team. Now, no, I know they're making no excuses, but Marshall County is a really good football team. So, Kel Greer, the running back, I think that was something that the Nolensville Knights can really have as a lesson for them, because that whatever they lined up, he ran it I think 32, 34 times. So they now know what it looks like to have a physical run game coming at them over and over again, and they got a couple weeks to figure out.
Could see a rematch, right?
Could see a rematch, and they got a couple of weeks to figure out how to stop it. But the other thing too, I don't think that would happen again. And we talked about it. The best defense against a real good offense came off the field. I think that was part of it as well. But I was surprised that Nolensville didn't have an easier time scoring points. Don't think that would happen again, but it happened Friday night.
Brentwood 24, Centennial 19. Credit Coach Kreisky and Centennial for being ready to play. In fact, about midway through the third quarter, they're up 13-7. And then Cade Granzow takes over. He ends up with 103 yards passing with the touchdown, 80 yards rushing on 10 carries and 2 touchdowns. But Steele scores. Centennial goes up 13-7. It's looking like upset city.
Right, and a bunch of things to take from that, but I don't like the whole Brentwood didn't play well thing. I think it was a big part of what you said. Centennial played really well, and that's how close they are, man. They're just in such a tough region. We just talked about that. They didn't even make the playoffs, and they had Brentwood, the region champ, who only has 2 losses.
None in the league, obviously.
None in the league, on the ropes, and so I think that was more, and we talked about it, I think that was more about what Centennial did, not what Brentwood did. And, credit to Coach Kreisky. It's like that every year, though. They're sitting there with 3 wins, and they're playing as hard for him as they did week 1. So I think that's credit to him and his staff, but also credit to Brentwood. It was a good win against a good team. And, the thing I thought was most impressed was even in the losses with Centennial, Desmond Smith and Alex Steele, there's been multiple games this year where they're both over 100. I think every game, at least one of them's over 100. They held them combined, the entire team, to 74 yards of rushing offense. That defense is playing really well.
Obviously, Centennial, a lot to build on. I talked to Coach Kreisky, in fact, today, and he said he got 3 or 4 of those freshmen in the last couple of weeks, so I know that'll be a good experience for them. And I'm telling you, if not next year, but maybe next year, they're going to be a playoff team for several years in a row.
You know who's won the WMAA at least 2 years in a row running away.
Right.
So hopefully they all stay out. They should.
Careers obviously ending the other night for Grayson Marcel, Alex Steele, Desmond Smith, Kevin Townsell, names that we've said week after week here.
Yep. Trevor Anderson, Johnny Crouch, guys that, gave a lot to that program and didn't make the playoffs their senior years, but nothing to hang their head about. They all had great careers that they will all be remembered at Centennial.
Franklin finishing the season strong, 39-0.
Needed that one.
Over Dixon County. And by the way, it was Ken Curtis night, right? Did you see this?
The special teams guru.
He's been there like 60 years.
No disrespect to Alan Lowry of the Ravenwood Raptors, formerly of the Tennessee Titans. But Ken Curtis is the dean of special teams coaches.
Did you see what happened on the first play?
I did not. Please don't tell me they gave a
no.
They. I did.
90,
kickoff return.
7 yards. I didn't even know Lipscomb was back there returning kicks. You look up and there he is.
Just how they drew it up.
And he served some popcorn at halftime, I heard, guy.
Oh, he did.
He's doing everything else.
I heard he was trying to get his boat started, but he forgot his lanyard.
Lipscomb, 86 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Dixon County, get them out of their misery, Tate. They had 6 first downs and 73 yards of total offense. Obviously, their struggles continued. Connor Bevan, 4 of 6 for the Rebels, 50 yards and a touchdown. Nichols also played. Christian Clemente, 5 receptions, 81 yards and a touchdown. Here's a little sneak peek for you. The Rebels are trending.
They're trending.
In the right direction.
Trending. They were trending this time last year. So 25 points in the first 2 quarters. That was great to see. It was a game that they should win easily, be able to get a lot of people in. They did that. I know Coach Webb, now we can talk about it, probably had a good idea they were going to beat Dixon. That's why that Nolensville game was so important. Now you go into the playoffs 5-5, 500. You're not one of those teams like the district champions over off Old Hickory Boulevard at 4-6. They're a little bit different, but 5-5 was really big to them. They got it. Now they got a tough challenge ahead of them, but I think it's one that they could pull off. I don't think it's David versus Goliath.
No, I don't think so
They're
either.
an underdog, but it isn't David versus
I don't think so either. Page 35, Franklin County 21.
Oh, and by the way, to those that think the doctor of defense isn't a doctor, I forgot about that. Well, you can't do much better.
I feel like this should be a zoom in.
You can't do much more than holding them to 0 points.
Yeah, whoever doesn't think that, they need to get their head checked.
That's right.
Because you know, it comes up on this show all the time. When I talk to other coaches and we talk defense, I guarantee you his name comes up first.
The first 2 words out of everybody's mouth: Donnie Webb, Ron Crawford.
That's right.
That's just not in this county.
That's 4 words, by the way.
Well, you know, first 2 names.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have.
Page 35, Franklin County 21. To me, Page just had to get this one over with. Cade Walker, 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 to Burrow, 1 for Simons, 1 for Bond, and then he also ran for a touchdown.
That's right.
Get it over with.
Get it over with. And then the big man, the bus, Bubba Johnson, had 75, 78 yards on a touchdown. I didn't see the box score. Those 21 points were a couple of them late. They had to be. Doesn't matter.
No,
Page is playing really well.
I think it was 21-14 in the second quarter.
Well, and you know, Mac's a good coach, you
Right.
know, and really good offensive guy. But Page playing well, man. Page is playing well.
They are. To me, and this is another sign of what kind of team they have, it's felt like from a distance that they've been ready for the playoffs for about 4 weeks.
And talked to Coach Rathbone about that this weekend. I remember when they went into 5A, man, can they compete in 5A? Can they?
Yes.
They got enough bodies, back-to-back region champs.
No doubt. Rested Old Sparty, 35-7 over Lincoln County. Grayson Hill, 2 touchdowns on 3 carries.
3 carries.
115 yards. Hey, Coach Coleman, give him the ball more.
One of them was an 80-yarder. Trey Hunter had over 100 and a touchdown.
Yes, on 9 carries.
Yeah. It was not Eric Coleman on Friday
Oh, no.
night. No, it was.
But you know what? In the playoffs, especially with the cold weather, I think it's going to serve them well. Now, they've got a tough matchup, but I think that serves them well.
Without a doubt, yeah. And we spoke about it a few weeks ago. One great thing about there's never anything great about it, but with the injury situation at quarterback, and then here they are going back to the wing T. I promise you now, Coach Watson's a no stone unturned kind of dude. It's a lot. They got to work on both now.
Right. Definite advantage.
I think so.
George Odamegwu, interception for a touchdown.
Playmaker.
Glad to see his name pop up there. Not that it hadn't been.
I think Keaton had a touchdown too, didn't he?
Yes.
Yep.
Fairview. I mean, I hate not to talk about the Fairview games much, but it's like blowout city, popcorn city, boat race city, dominate city, whatever city you want, they're living
Tombstone.
in it. Tombstone. 42-6. They end the season on a 6-game winning streak. Fairview, obviously, when you look at their bracket in the playoffs, it is tough. It is really tough.
Oh, tough. Tougher than some of the 5 and 6A quadrants. Is that what we're calling them? So, but, you know, the great thing about it is if you make it out of that, you know you got a pretty good chance to go to Cookeville. Now, what's your reward for making it to Cookeville? Get to play Alcoa. But somebody's going to beat
Gary
them.
Rankins.
Yeah. The only guy who can talk rings with Barbara Campbell, that's who you get. But somebody's going to get them.
Yeah, that would be fun, though.
Hey, man, making it there is a big deal. And once again, the Nardozzi show, man. It's just, I don't usually say this because there's so many good ones. Obviously, we're biased here. If that guy's not a finalist, I don't care if he wins it. If he's not a finalist, it's a crime.
Write him in.
Yeah.
He's a finalist.
Pen?
Pen.
Pen him in.
Not an eraser mate either.
No.
The erasable pens.
Those weren't really erasers, but I know.
It was terrible.
Yeah, you can still say it, right?
Okay, so now this is, I'm looking forward to this. This is the playoff portion of our show today. So we're going to do it a little bit different. Let's talk about how Pick'ems went last week,
Okay.
which I got back a little closer. I'm not happy about it because it was the Nolensville Marshall County game. Qualls and
Now, let me
I,
ask you this, because you ended the show, not to derail it, but no, I'm being serious. You ended the show by saying, I'm going to go with Marshall County because I got to catch some ground. Did you really think they were going to win?
I hated to pick against Nolensville. I mean, it's tricky for me for picking a non-WCS team.
Right.
I'm the athletic director, and I'm picking the other guys.
Yeah, but
just so my little record can be shiny.
That's right. You got to be.
But if you would have picked Marshall, I would have picked Nolensville.
You picked no. Okay. I was stunned. Not that they beat them, the way they beat them.
Right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So Qualls was also 7-0. He had to pick his. He's got ties, right?
Did he copy and paste your picks?
Sorta. So I'm 59-15, which is still 4 games behind you. You're 63-11.
Oh.
The fans were also 6-1. They're 60-14. Qualls moved to 57-17. He's only 6 games behind you. Fans continue to vote on Twitter. It'll still be there.
He's got 5 weeks.
WCS CO Athletics. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to talk 3A first, and we will talk about our teams and their quadrant. May get a little further on some, but we'll start with Fairview, 8-2 versus Giles County, 4-6. And I'm telling you, I think it's upset alert. I'm not rooting for it.
No.
But I think it's upset. You look at Giles County. Listen to these losses. Losses to Hendersonville, East Nashville, Stratford, Page, Tullahoma, Pearl-Cohn. Who's scheduling those games?
Oh, okay. Did you see? This will put it even more in perspective.
They beat Marshall County.
They beat Marshall County, 14-10. They're good. Now, some of those losses, those are no shame in any of those losses. Some of those they didn't have their quarterback Walker Dunn. I think he's back. If he's back, this game's tight. They got a running back named Shea McElroy, heck of a player. You got to know where he is at all times. He's no Logan Nardozzi, but he's a heck of a player. So, yeah, man, this is not. I'd tell you this. Or am I picking? Or we're not picking? We're
No.
yeah.
We're going to halfway
I can tell you this. Not tipping my hat, but there won't be boat race city in this. I assure you.
Let's look at that quadrant of the bracket. We'll start from the top here. Pearl-Cohn, Stewart County. Obviously, Pearl-Cohn's the class of this particular part of the bracket.
They really are.
Sycamore, East Nashville. What do you see in those 2 games?
Sycamore's good. I think it's how healthy is East Nashville. You know, there was a time when they hadn't given up a point, and this is against good football teams. And then East Nashville's 2 losses. They're right. They're 8-2. Their 2 losses are to Pearl-Cohn and BGA. So Sycamore just doesn't have enough firepower. East Nashville's they're well coached. They got a really good defense, and they got some playmakers on offense. So Sycamore tries. They just this one will come down to Jimmy's and Joe's.
Camden, Stratford, Giles County, Fairview.
James Moore, the tailback, 56 carries. 328 yards, 6 touchdowns a few weeks ago. He ain't going to get 56 carries because he's going to be sitting over on the sideline eating popcorn. Goes Porter. Stratford's good. Good.
Giles, Fairview. So let's go ahead and make our pick
Picks.
right here.
Okay.
So we'll kind of mix it up here. So Fairview, Giles County. You pick first.
I think this is a good game, but I like this team. I think this is the year, or one of the years, where Coach Hughes, non-conference scheduling helped him. They're tougher. Fairview, but it's close.
I agree. I'm going Fairview in a tight one. All right, so now, who do you like coming out of that?
Stratford.
Stratford over Fairview?
East. Oh, no. Who's coming out of there?
Yeah, Pearl-Cohn East. I'm going Pearl-Cohn, obviously. I bet you are too.
Pearl-Cohn East, Fairview West. Is that how we're doing it?
Yes.
Yes. You talking about in the quarterfinals?
Yes.
Pearl-Cohn, Fairview. And then who wins that one?
Now, we can change our mind, by the way. But this is just for...
Barring injuries, love you, Yellow Jackets. Another great year, Pearl-Cohn.
I agree. I agree with all those picks, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at 4A now. Nolensville versus Macon County. This is a get-well week for Nolensville, I'm predicting. I'm sure you are too. 2 consecutive losses to end the season, but don't forget, it's been a record-setting season for Nolensville. This is the first time that they've hosted a playoff game.
A lot of firsts.
And they'll be fired up out there.
So does this mean did they win a playoff game?
Yes.
Yeah, they won a play. That's right. So it's the first time they'll win a home playoff game.
Yes.
And they will win. Macon County runs the wing tee. They run it well. They're going to limit touches, so this might be a little bit of a snoozer, but Nolensville wins and wins handily.
Livingston Academy, let's look at that part of the draw. In 4A we're talking. Livingston Academy, Maplewood. I'm going Maplewood.
I love it, but you're wrong. Livingston Academy.
Well, and I'm hoping.
Paul
there's a-
Guy, you know about that from
Yes.
basketball, don't
Yes,
you?
I do.
Yeah.
I like because they just put it on shirts and people are like, what the heck's going on?
Not
it's
up
like
there.
sawmill gravy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, what about Tullahoma, DeKalb, Stone Memorial, Marshall County? I know nothing about most of those teams. I've seen Tullahoma obviously a little bit. I'm going to go chalk on these. DeKalb and Marshall.
Wow, I'm going Tullahoma and Boat Race City on Marshall. Tombstone, DDT City.
Okay, how about Marshall, DeKalb? I'm going Marshall versus Nolensville again.
Me too. Hey, tell the viewers, where will that game be?
I'm going to tell you this. If it gets to that, Nolensville, we'll see you for game day.
Oh.
Now, it's possible we'll see them week 2 if Maplewood wins like I'm predicting.
They're not winning. We'll see them week.
So who wins that rematch? Nolensville, Marshall County rematch.
I think Nolensville does.
You've got Nolensville in the semifinals.
Semifinals.
I love it. It's been a great year so far for Nolensville. I'm going to agree with you there. All right, now let's talk 5A. To me, maybe the best bracket. I'm not talking like the best teams, but the most competitive.
Unless you want to talk the 3A bracket we just talked about with Fairview. Stratford, Fairview, East Nashville, Pearl Cone. Jeez.
It's pretty tough.
But
Not many
taken.
cupcake first round games. There's
No.
a couple in there.
That's right.
All right, let's talk 5A. Page, number 1 seed, versus Hunters Lane, the number 4 seed. This one's over pretty quick.
I mean, this one's boat. This one's boat race. Cade Walker is icing his arm before halftime.
Hunters Lane's like,
No offense.
I think we were glad we made the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. And here's the great thing. Thanks. Now we got to find a way to pay for buses.
Now,
Go over there and get boat raced.
maybe they could take a boat to the game.
They could. No?
No. Summit Gallatin. Now, I'm very interested to see how you pick this, by the way. So we've got Page. So we're going right down the bracket here since we're in a couple of these games. Gallatin 9-1, Summit 8-2. Only loss for Gallatin was at Beach, which was a great game. I'm gonna let you pick this one first.
It's tough. This is the, no joke, the toughest game of any of these. I think it's that close. Man, they're good. They're really good. And I just don't know where my man is, number 1. Number 1, 100%. I'm going with the Green Wave. I don't know if Summit's healthy enough and Gallatin's healthy.
Tough to stop Spencer Briggs.
He's a dude, man.
Old Sparty, I told you I wouldn't let you down.
There you go.
I'm going Summit.
Separation Friday.
We need you to win for me, okay? You went Gallatin, obviously I went Summit, so I've got the Summit Page rematch, which we'll talk in a second. You've got, obviously, Gallatin. Hillsboro, Shelbyville rolls, right?
Yeah, something's going on in Hillsboro. They were really good. They beat Hillwood 14-7 last week. Should have tombstoned them. Yes, Shelbyville.
Columbia Beach. Crabtree 10-0 there at Beach. That's a good game, though. Could be. Better
Jay
than,
Sean Parks, 4 touchdowns in the first half.
oh, blowout.
Could be.
How about those semis? Page, Summit, or Gallatin.
Gallatin.
Shelbyville, Beach. Who comes out of that?
Beach comes out. If I'm right, Gallatin comes out for round 2.
Who plays in the quarterfinal game, in your opinion,
My opinion,
amongst those 4?
Beach and Gallatin.
I'm going to go Beach, Page.
I think you could be right.
But we can change our mind.
It's real simple. If Gallatin's there, can Page stop the run? Can Gallatin stop the pass?
These are some great games.
Oh, great games. And will be great crowds.
Outside of Hunters Lane, everybody's decent.
Yes. That one, those first 3 games. Beach Columbia. Those first 2 games. Shelbyville, Hillsboro, Summit, Gallatin are as good as any game, any division, anywhere in the state. How about that? How about that? Summit 8-2. No, how about that? Gallatin, you're 9-1.
Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
You're the region runner-up. You lost to the region champ by 4 points in a knockdown dragout. And what's your first round reward? You get the Summit Spartans and Destin Wade. Jeez.
All right,
But that's the way it ought to be.
It should be that way. Let's move on to 6A. Obviously, we have 4 teams represented. We'll start with Brentwood, number 1 seed, 8-2, taking on McGavock. And before we talk about who we think is going to win, McGavock, they were victim of Dixon County. Dixon's only win, 13-12. Sorry, Dixon, I know we've been giving you a hard time all year. This one's over right now.
It's over. But they've gotten better since that loss.
Who, McGavock?
McGavock. They've won their last 3 games against Laverne, Overton, and Antioch.
Okay.
I hate what they did to the Overton program over that deal with Antioch 2 years ago. I mean, it's just they might not have been winning state championships, but they weren't getting beat 40-0 by McGavock. Anyways, they're getting better. They've won 3 of the last. They won their last 3 games of the regular season, but this one's over early. Granzal's resting up. Walker Merrill's over there eating popcorn, thinking about track season.
On to basketball season for McGavock. They have a great team in basketball, by the way.
Marvin Hughes.
Man, they're going to be really good. I exited at the right time. Ravenwood versus Stewart's Creek. To me, it was a very surprising loss, Stewart's Creek to Smyrna last week. Before that, their only loss was in week 4 to Cane Ridge, 33-23. And to me, it's too bad for I mean, I don't really care, but it's kind of too bad for them because I think they're better than Smyrna.
I think they are too. They've got 2 losses all year. They've got 1 loss in the region, and that was to Smyrna. Okay, and so it's kind of like what we were talking about with Gallatin for Ravenwood. Now I still think Ravenwood's a better team. They'll take care of it, but Ravenwood beat Pulaski Academy. They lose 1 game, man, to Brentwood, and they get a 8-2 team in the first round. Stewart's Creek's good. They got a running back named Amari Jelks. If you haven't seen him, he's worth going to see. He's about 5'4", but the guy can flat go. Problem is, this is the best defensive front 7 he's seen all year. He's not going to get room. But Stewart's Creek's a good football team.
They've had a really good year. I know they started the season, and Mount Juliet ended up not being as good as people thought they were going to be, but they started the season. That was a big win for them.
Ended their win streak.
It's going to be it's been a really good year for Stewart's Creek, and it's over.
Taking up equipment next Monday.
Ravenwood rolls.
Yeah,
So
double digits.
All right, the next 2 are a little tougher. Independence, number 3 seed at Smyrna. Smyrna did a big win last week, as we mentioned, over Stewart's Creek to secure the 2nd seed. They lost to Centennial 37-24 in week 2, which is what you mentioned earlier. Hey, we've got a team that's out of the playoffs, and they beat the number 2 seed from the other side.
Right, handily.
Losses to Cane Ridge.
No shame in that.
And Ravenwood 38-0.
No shame in that.
Which Independence are we going to see, Tate?
I think you're right. Smyrna's. They got to stop the run. Mikkel Hartsfield is a guy who's over 100 yards about every game. If they can hold him under 100 yards, the Independence defense, they win. If they don't, it's a tight game that keeps Ethan Cash off the field. We got to get Ethan's got to be. We got to get him going in the run game because it opens up the pass. Hopefully Bishop's back and 100%. I'm going with Independence.
I'm going Indy. So we've agreed so far.
Yes, sir.
Ravenwood, Independence, Brentwood. Now, this could be a separator here.
Could be.
Franklin at Cane Ridge. I don't mind taking this one first.
Go ahead.
I said early on the season, Franklin was my surprise team. It was looking questionable. We're changing quarterbacks. We're doing all kinds of different things. They finished the season strong. I think most would have said at the beginning of the year, 5-5, heading to the playoffs. It's a pretty good year. They might not have called it a surprise, but when they take out Cane Ridge, they won't be able to say anything but I was right. Franklin.
That'd be huge. That'd be a sweep for 6A.
I'm writing them in as you're telling me who you're picking.
I hope you do. I hope you're right. said it earlier in the beginning of the show. What to think of Coach Webb and the Franklin Rebels.
I feel like a butt's coming.
Man, too much firepower. Cane Ridge has been rebuilding. People are looking at those early losses in those early games. Xavier Clemens, they lost one of the best quarterbacks they've ever had last year. They lost two of the best, the Mr. Football, the running back. Xavier Clemens is playing really well now at quarterback. They got Quentin Barnes, just too much firepower. And I think Pearl Cone, Eddie Woods at Cane Ridge, and Tony Bernetti, they do the best job of anybody. In Metro, too much. But I think Franklin gives them a scare.
Ravenwood, Cane Ridge, according to you. Who wins that one? Ravenwood rolls. I'll have Ravenwood winning that game too. I'm just saying the opponent's going to be different. Indy, Brentwood.
I think Brentwood is a terrible matchup for Independence. I think Independence is a bad matchup for other people, but not Brentwood. Brentwood.
I agree.
Whoa.
Battle of the Woods repeat. Who you got, Tate? This will be our final pick of the day.
I picked Ravenwood, and they don't win. And man, did I hear about it. And the county athletic director picked Brentwood.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and I heard about that. So I don't know. Obviously, I didn't know last time. I know history in this game shows winning 2 in a row doesn't happen very often. So that being said, I'll go with the Ravenwood Raptors.
I'm picking them for the same reason. If Ravenwood would have won the early game, I would pick Brentwood here.
And really, off air at the beginning of the year, that's kind of what we thought was going to happen.
No doubt.
But I'm telling you, I've seen it up close and personal, man. When you got Granzow back there, if you can manage the down and distance, if you can make sure third downs are third and short, I'm telling you, it's hard to stop. And so they could keep them off the field. And I mean, it's going to be a great game. I know this. That Nolensville Marshall County rematch would be a great one to be at, and the Brentwood Raven one would be a great one to be at. And hopefully there's a Summit Page rematch. Boy, you'd have a tough decision that night, wouldn't you?
All right, real quickly, Tate, I'll get your take on this since you're the expert. Who wins the 3A state title?
Alcoa.
That was pretty quick. Over Pearl Cone?
They're a private school.
Over Pearl Cone?
Yes.
Okay.
They have open. What I've said it for 10 years. What if Brentwood High School was open zoned? Give me a break.
4A.
And I respect Coach Rankin.
4A.
It's not his fault. 4A. Oh man, 4A's tough. 4A. The Nolensville Knights.
Wow. That's big right there.
It's going to be big when it comes true.
Just pencil them in for the Directors' Cup if they pull that off, right? With the start they've had.
Yes.
Can you imagine in the fall if it was volleyball, check, soccer, check, football, check? That'd be impressive. 5A, who you got?
I think it comes out of this region. Beach Buccaneers.
I thought you were going to say that. 6A.
Ravenwood is in the championship game.
Against?
Oakland's the best team in the state.
So runner-up finish for Ravenwood, which would be a progression each year for Coach Daniels, right? Quarters, semis, final.
Yep. They're the only ones who can beat them, but gosh, they're good.
Tate, it was
Hope I'm
fun
wrong.
today. I hope you're wrong too. It's been fun today. It's been a great year. It's not over yet.
No.
Can't wait to talk about the first round next week.
Are we going to have a
We're going to have what?
Are we going to have a basketball? When's the basketball preview?
Well, we'll get that
It's
going.
going to
soon.
overlap.
We'll get that going.
Hard to believe that's coming now, too.
Yes, it is.
Go to a game. Make sure you get plenty of good games. Get to one. It's going to be awesome.
The hardest thing, I think, is choosing which one.
No doubt. Well, not this week.
Summit Gallatin.
That's what I think.
Yeah. See you next time on Sports Connection.